Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Dev Day. So excited that everybody's here at Converge22. It's our first. Did you notice? Our first event, Circle's first inaugural crypto conference. I hope everybody had an amazing time this week. And what a fantastic way to close the week by highlighting our builders, our creators, our developers in the community. My name is Sandra Persing. I am the Vice President of Developer and Ecosystem Marketing. And I am so thrilled to be here today speaking with my good friend as well as amazing colleague, Kate Kallot from the Mara Foundation. And Kate, I'll just do a little intro, for you, and then we can actually give the stage to you so you can talk about more of what's going on. Let's see, Kate. Gosh, I don't know. You have so much experience and accomplishments. We could probably fill this entire talk just about your accomplishments, but I'm going to keep it short. Kate Kallot is a world-class technologist who has received sustained global acclaim in tech for social impact, most notably for her work advancing technology access across Africa. She is co-founder and chief impact officer at Mara, where she oversees token, community, developer relations, and president of the Mara Foundation. That's it, a nonprofit dedicated to accelerating blockchain education and sustainable development in Africa. Welcome, Kate.
Thanks, Sandra. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Kate, this is seriously big, right? A bold goal of what the Mara team's trying to do. Yeah. Mara Foundation is essentially trying to bring financial inclusion, equitable access to an entire continent. Now, I know you're amazing, right? Like, you built teams in major companies, publicly traded companies, but this is a big goal. Why are you doing this?
Well, I'm not one of those who has been in blockchain for a very long time. I actually got into blockchain very recently, though my co-founder and CEO, Chi, has been in blockchain since 2014. But the way I got into blockchain is in a very practical way. One day, one association that I was supporting in Gabon, in West Africa, called me up because they were trying to purchase a land to build an orphanage and a center for women victims of physical and mental abuse, a refuge, and told me that they had been paying the land every month for the past couple of years, and they had 30% left to pay on that land. And the landlord called them and said, well, it's either you give me the 30% now, cash, or I sell it to somebody else. On top of this, there was issues with the neighbor trying to push their fence, eat on the land. So, I realized that property right issues were very, very deep and pervasive across the continent. And as I was trying to, solve a problem, like all developers, I started to dig into the potential of the technology. Yeah. And that's how I realized that blockchain could be applied to such problems. And I had a moment of realization where I was like, oh my God, this sounds very exciting. Because coming from a more traditional technology background in AI, I was one of the skeptics around blockchain and crypto. So as I was trying to help them, I was also trying to raise capital for them to pay for the land. But I also thought that, hey, we should look into how we can raise capital in a sustainable way to fund that whole structure. Because there is a whole issue with charity and philanthropy, traditional charity and philanthropy today, which is not transparent. There's $250 million going into orphanages every year, but no one knows how the money is being spent and how much actually gets into the structures and for the benefits of the orphan. And at the time, DAOs were becoming a hot potato. Mm. Like Constitution DAO had just raised $48 million. So I decided, why not create a DAO called Orphan DAO?
Why not? Right?
Why not? So I actually created the DAO, but as I was getting ready to raise capital for them, I realized that, I'm missing one big component, which is an exchange, a core infrastructure, because
Right.
how am I getting that money into their hands? Funny enough, our co-founder actually spent years in the Niger Delta trying to clean the Niger Delta with local communities and oil companies, linking them through smart contract, but also came to that realization that he was missing an exchange. So we had both come to the same realization at different times, and for me it was an accelerated way in a couple of weeks. And when we talked about it, Mara just made sense. So that's why I decided to join the adventure and create that infrastructure that we were all missing, which is the exchange. So at the core, we're an exchange. We're also an L1 chain. We're also a wallet, and we're also a token. We're really trying to position ourselves as this infrastructure that Africa needs and Africans need to build their future on. Financial future, technology future, you name it. We're really trying to embrace that infrastructure position so we can enable more people to build innovation on top of our platform.
Yeah, and we've been talking about this all week, right? The need to provide the infrastructure, the services for developers and builders and creators. We can't just say, hey, if you understand a web and you want to come into Web3, you just need some tooling. And, good luck, right? We actually need to provide the guidelines, the guardrails as well as the platform for developers, builders, and creators to come on board and build with us, especially. And then the name Mara, I know that you and I, actually, I didn't know either. Kate had to educate me, but tell me more. What is this name Mara? It's beautiful.
So there is an ecosystem in Kenya, a reserve called the Masai Mara, which is one of the most important wildlife ecosystem in the world. And every year, the big migration happens where you have all the big 5 animals migrating there. So it's kind of the core of the world's wildlife. So Mara, as a name for the company, made sense because blockchain is a digital wildlife. Mm-hmm. It's a digital wildlife, and you realize that so much happened around this technology that's so complicated to understand for a lot of people, and they see this as a bubble, just like the Mara, the Masai Mara in Kenya. Also, Mara means tribe in Sango, one of the languages in Central African Republic. So we like to say that we are building a Pan-African tribe.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And again, we say Mara, but we also talk about the Mara Foundation. And I mean, so you met your co-founder, you launched an exchange, you're offering infra services, and then now you have the foundation, a nonprofit. It's very unusual for a company to jump right into the nonprofit foundation stage. What inspired you? What made you think this is the right strategy, the strategic movement?
When we started doing this and interacting at every levels, whether it's governments, institutions, regulators, SMEs, but even the people at the grassroots, on the grassroots side, we realized that there was still a lot of skepticism around blockchain. And that skepticism was coming from a place of fear, but a place of fear because they did not understand blockchain. So they were seeing blockchain as this bubble that us in the US, this crypto bubble that us in the US, we've contributed to build, and they were scared of the technology. So we were spending a lot of time explaining to governments, these are the applications of blockchain beyond crypto. You can actually put land registries on the blockchain. It can help you for property right issues that have been deeply rooted in our continent that can be solved through this technology today. So we realized that if we want to be successful at this, we have to take on the weight of educating everybody at every level. Government, institution, grassroots, the lady in the market needs to know why she would use a wallet. We need to tell her about basic financial awareness, but also financial resilience. Because it's one thing to equip everybody with wallets, but if you don't teach them why this wallet is important for them individually, or why blockchain is important for the government of Nigeria, of Kenya, of Rwanda, then we will go nowhere. And we wouldn't be successful if we don't take on this weight of educating people in Africa. So free education has been our mandate, and that's why we decided to create that foundation centered around capacity building, around financial inclusion, financial resilience, but also blockchain technology capacity building with a developer-first mindset. And through the foundation, we're aiming to train 1 million developers.
That's amazing.
to in turn impact 1 billion lives across the continent.
That's absolutely amazing. Again, big, ambitious goals, and the structure to accomplish those goals are very well founded with your line of thought, what the foundation wants to do. And I mean, for me, I remember we actually spoke about this, you and I, like many months ago. Partnerships take some time to complete. And I have to say, the impressive part of your vision, Mara Foundation's vision, was this focus on education. And we at Circle, we believe that one of our very strong pillars of developer engagement absolutely rests on education at various different stratas of the ecosystem as well, right? Like, we absolutely want to focus on developers because they're the ones building, but we have to at least think, not at least, we have to always think about the end user at the end of the day. We can't rely on it just because we build it, people will be able to use it at the end. So that's incredibly important, and that educational component, it's a hard job. Tell me more about how the Mara Foundation wants to do this, and Mara just wants to do this with especially the web community, right? And the web community is so near and dear to my heart because that's where I started in technology, the browsers. And now we're here and we're saying, okay, we need to bring more developers who are educated in the web space to come into the blockchain and crypto space. How do we do this, Kate?
So a few months ago, I was giving a class at a grassroots community in Nigeria around data visualization. I had 100 data scientists in the room, and I was talking about best practices on data visualization. And all of a sudden, one of my slides was about digital twins, and then I mentioned the metaverse. And the moment I opened it for questions, it became a Metaverse 101 class.
We can't escape the metaverse.
No. But what I realized is that those data scientists in the room who are building tools that contribute to the metaverse didn't even realize it. Because again, there was this bubble that was created and that was difficult for them to burst if someone doesn't come to them and bring them the awareness and demystify.
You're connecting the dots for them.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Demystify that whole thing for them. So that's when we realized that we had to bring awareness to those developers. We had to build developer programs that would focus on transitioning those Web2 developers into Web3, making sure that we provide masterclasses, workshops, innovation labs where they can go and learn and try and build and congregate. But also, we would provide them the tools. So bringing things like Circle API to those developers who don't know about Circle API, but also provide them the opportunities. Hey, here is a problem statement. You're a developer, you like to build cool things, but cool doesn't always mean useful.
Exactly.
So what about, and around us, there's so many challenges that can be solved through blockchain. So here are a few challenges. Why don't you try build a solution for that specific challenge that can be useful and can be scaled beyond your apartment, So we've been taking on this mandate to really equip them with everything they need so that they can in turn have the knowledge to be able to build the solutions for problems that the continent is facing.
Again, the approach is, here's the technology, here's also the guidance, here's the support, and speaking of, wasn't there a hackathon recently that happened?
It was. We made a call for innovators, and we did a hackathon in the Masai Mara. I'm just actually back from the bush. I flew back from the Masai Mara to here earlier this week.
Oh my gosh, and we appreciate it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure. But yeah, we just spent 10 days hacking in the Masai Mara. We put out a call to innovators. We got 800 applications from 24 African countries, and we selected 8 teams of 3 to build a solution to solve last mile payment for Maasai community in the Masai Mara. So we flew 24 innovators into the Masai Mara to build a solution, and it's just been an amazing hack. I think this whole event really overpassed all our expectations. And on day 3 of the hack, we actually got the developers to interact with the Maasai community. We spent the whole day with Maasai chiefs, with Maasai ladies, and they were talking about the challenges that they were facing beyond last mile payments. Right. Some developers came to me and were like, well, Kate, last mile payment is one thing, but I see so many other things that I can build around and innovate around. I said, well, we're in a hackathon, so do as you please. And the solutions that came out of it innovated beyond last mile payment, innovations around how to preserve wildlife. So some of them use NFT for wildlife conservation. Some of them build blockchain platform for human-wildlife conflict management. So we saw innovation based on the problem statement that was last mile payment. We saw innovations go beyond that. And this is the type of space that we are aspiring to give to developers. And the winners were supposed to get into the Antler program. Antler decided to take on 5 teams out of the 8.
Wow, wow, that's
and
amazing.
Incubated. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's really amazing. Thank you. Absolutely fantastic, and this is what I'm looking forward to, right? I want to get out of the Silicon Valley bubble. I want to get out of your typical NFT use cases as examples of blockchain technology. I mean, yes, look, we all love NFTs. It's exciting, it's cool, it's fun, right? But these utility cases, especially in the regions of Africa, especially in the Mara, where it's necessary, again, to repeat exactly what you said, the transparency and trust is needed. And USDC does bring that level of trust and transparency with the technology that we can use. I'm so excited to be there. Yes. And meet the people and actually explore more of the cases. So can we actually share what's about to happen in a few weeks?
Yes.
Yeah, should we talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it. So as you know, hopefully many of you read, we are partnering with the Mara Foundation Circle, and we're working towards supporting this wonderful mission that the Mara Foundation has of bringing billions of developers into the Web3 space so that we can build amazing use cases, we can bring utility to real life problems, right? Bring solutions to real life problems in this region. And we'll kick it off with a developer roadshow. Again, something so near and dear to my heart because that means we're gonna be on the ground speaking with developers, speaking with end users, speaking with customers, speaking with people who are really looking for help, solutions, and technology can provide that. So I'm super excited. I hope you are too, Kate.
I'm super excited to host you and your team. It's going to be amazing. We'll be in Nigeria, we'll be in Kenya, we'll meet with developers, Web3 influencers in both countries. We'll also host masterclasses and workshops. And I can't wait for these developers to interact with your team hands-on and ask the question, understand what USDC can bring to them, and also build and innovate around that. So for me, it's a pleasure to host you, and I can't wait to show you Africa, the Africa we know, and this energy that there is coming from those young innovators over there on the ground.
That's amazing. We just have a minute, and I just want to bring back again, everything that's happened this week, all the content that we were able to consume as well as share out. And Africa has been a region that we did highlight during Converge22. Most notably, our very famous speaker, Charlize Theron, who talked about her grassroots efforts in South Africa. One thing I want to just highlight again, and I'd love for you to say a few words, is you're from Africa. You know the people, your foundation works directly with the folks. How is that an impact in its own?
It's an impact on its own because it's often very easy to forget that we build technology to be used and applied in specific use cases and in regions that need it the most. And it's a realization when you look at the way the technology innovation in Africa is being driven, it's a grassroots innovation. It all comes from bottoms up. Developers don't learn, most of them don't learn through university, they're self-taught. 50% of African developers are self-taught. They learn through boot camps, hackathons. So it's important to meet them where they are and provide them those tools, this platform, those opportunity, and the visibility they need so that they can innovate safely and build their future. So for us, being on the ground, being in touch with those developers, sitting at this intersection of developers, businesses, regulators, the lady in the market, it allows us to create that ecosystem where developer can build a solution that a lady in the market will use, a government will use, a business will use, and really create a bubble of innovation that can drive the continent forward.
That is the ecosystem dream.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. We're at time. Again, thank you so much for joining us, having this chat with me, talking more about how Circle and the Mara Foundation are going to work together for the next year. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Really appreciate it.